Welcome to Stabby Time.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
It was an excellent day for an exorcism.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Stabby Time. I know you're not used to seeing me so soon, but I'm getting better at posting shows now. Also, there's so many horror movies coming out. It is becoming so hard to review all of them. But this one in particular is my favorite. It is almost nostalgic. And if you don't know what Faces of Death is, I'm about to tell you about it. First things first, there are tons of spoilers. If you do not want to hear them and you do not want the movie ruined for you, please pause, come back another time, and listen to this podcast episode. I don't want anyone messing it up. So it's funny. I don't know if I would have usually explained what Faces of Death was until I was at work and I had to explain this to a younger generation. And it was so funny because like their reaction was very, I don't know, I guess like I got numbed being like an 80s, 90s kid. But the OG Faces of Death, as I remember it, and then I'll give you guys facts. So the one fact is that Faces of Death came out in 1978. All right. It included pre-existing videos of actual deaths and their aftermaths. So it was obviously getting attention and becoming a thing because Faces of Death made a number 2, and that came out in 1981, the year moi was born. But Faces of Death was that video on the shelves, a Blockbuster, and by the way, I held back saying Blockbusters. That's how you know you're from Chicago, is you add a plural to literally everything. But so it was always on the shelf of Blockbuster. And I remember if you were a kid that watched horror movies, it was like, how am I going to get it? Or a teenager. Like, how am I going to get that movie? Because they did ID you. You had to be 18. So we would obviously open up like a Disney movie, replace the tape. I got really mad because one day I tried to get Faces of Death and it was like it was a Disney movie. I don't know why. Like, why? Hey, what's up? It is straight facts. Like I don't understand like why that shocked me because we were the ones that was also doing that, but here we are. It was but it was funny. But I was explaining to her that was the thing. Like, you were a badass if you rent that movie and you watched it and you were unfazed. So it's not like we were believing in therapy anyways in the 80s and 90s, but like if you were unfazed, you were like a badass. So I remember we rented it, and I don't know, the only death that I remember, like after seeing this movie, they did show some of like the parts of Faces of Death, and I remember those parts now that it was shown to me. But I still remember to this day, there was an alligator one where a guy was like, I think it was on number 2. The guy was walking in to like buy a river or whatever, and an alligator ate him. And I think it resonated with me because I lived in Florida at the time, and all you heard like literally daily, like it just, loving down the memory lane. It is a trip. Like, it's just so weird. Like, after telling my coworker this, she was like, "That's fucked up." And I'm like, "What do you mean that's fucked up?" I'm like, "Oh my God, that's right." And I don't know why my brain went to this, but I was like, What are you talking about? It's fucked up. Back in my day, this is how I know I'm getting old. Was like, back in my day, in order to get your license, you had to get permission from your parent to watch a video on people dying while driving. And there would be times when like literally one was sitting there and like they're like, look at this video, and it was of a lady who literally crashed into the median of an expressway and half her face was missing. One half was on the bottom, one half was on the top, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god. And I remember the teacher saying that if you laughed, you failed. You failed the class if you laughed at any of this. So I told her this and she was like, what? What? Yeah, so, yeah, it was nice. It was nice to get verified how fucked up our childhoods were. But also, I mean, I don't even know yeah, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But let's get going on Faces of Death. I love this movie. And again, spoilers. So this Faces of Death, I thought, because I saw the previews and I was thinking, oh yeah, they're going to get more into how the videos came about. Like, how did people start videotaping these murders and then put them on a tape? It was not that at all. I was way off, which is crazy because usually I'm pretty spot on with these things. But as I was watching it, I realized I was severely wrong. So in the movie, you have Margaret, which is the main girl. They go into her backstory and everything, but I'm going to go to the rundown of the characters first. We have Ryan, her roommate. Poor guy doesn't know what he's getting into at this point. You have Samantha, who is a influencer. There is another guy and a kid, totally forgot to look up their names, not even lying, but he's like a newscaster that's also like an influencer. This movie goes deep into like, I don't know, it's weird, like how everyone is an influencer now. If you're on the news, you're an influencer, you're on social media. Everything is on social media. So, and everyone is that's doing anything on social media is like almost like a celebrity. So the killer is kind of obsessed about it a little bit. In the beginning, when I get introduced to the killer, Daiquiri, I did not expect him to have that mindset. I thought he was going to be one of those people that were like bullied in some way, even though it's the dude from Stranger Things and he's gorgeous. I'm just like, oh, well, maybe they're gonna say he's bullied because he's a little weird. They did not do that at all. I was totally wrong on everything, honestly, about this movie when I try to guess what the hell it is. And I'm gonna mention, yes, Charlie XCX is in this movie, Gabby. I have to say, I'm impressed by her American accent. She was on point. Yeah, it was really weird. It was fun. I really wish that they would have like gave her more scenes or had her more involved, because when I first heard she was on there, I was like, okay, like I like her music, but whatever. Um, but yeah, she was really good. Like, she needs to be in more movies. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. So Margaret's background is that she did a social media video. And in this social media video, she and her sister were on these railroad tracks and they were dancing, doing like a fucking TikTok dance. A train comes by. Margaret goes to leave. Her sister goes to leave, but her sister gets stuck on the train tracks and gets ran over by the train live on social media. Well, not live, sorry. She recorded it for a social media and then took it down. That's what the impression I was getting. But I guess in the investigation, the cops posted the video, making her known and famous for the girl that did a TikTok dance on fucking train tracks, got her sister murdered. Not what you want to do. So obviously she's having a hard time. And you see her in this job. She's got this new job now where she has to investigate videos on this social media platform and what is good and what is not, which is funny because it's kind of getting into the TikTok element of what is okay on platforms and what is not okay, and how much they want to make money. So they might just turn an eye when it comes to certain things, uh, because she's playing these videos and she sees the first one. And the video has the original sound from Faces of Death. So it has like the guy doing the narration in the background. And then you see a person getting murdered by mannequins or whatever, who is recreating these videos, but in his own artistic version, I guess you could say. So she's like thinking it's fake. So she lets it go by. And then she questions fake. And then she's seeing more of these videos. So while she's working, going and she's seeing these videos, she is letting people know the rules of her job, which is don't Google anything. You can't tell anyone or discuss those videos. Basically, when you leave work, you leave work. You leave everything behind at work. No one in your family, none of your friends, no one should be investigating anything. Like, it is what it is. And it automatically sounds like a horrible job, but people lined up to get it. And as she goes, she finds like another video. She's trying to let her boss know, like, hey, and by the way, she's friends with her boss. So he got her this job. And she's like, hey, I think this video is real. And basically the boss says, listen, give the people what they want. All right. If this is a trend, go about it. I think it's just fake. It's not real. Blah, 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 blah. He's like, it's super realistic. And she then becomes like a little obsessed about finding this killer. Now let's go to Daiquiri's backstory. That's the killer. You don't know much about him. You don't even know where he's killing people. All you know is this dude works in a phone company like T-Mobile, and he's swiping on social media. He sees an influencer girl, Samantha, and she's like the typical girly girl who's like doing dances and makeup tutorials, and he's swiping away and he's looking up her info so he could find out where she lives. So the girl, then Samantha, it goes up to a pool and tries to do a video because she's saying that the only way she's going to be able to be half naked is if she's near a pool. They'll let you do it if you're in a bikini. So her and her friend is doing a little TikTok dance, and she's in the locker room as you do in any horror movie. You gotta have a locker room murder scene. And she hears like one of her videos in the shower, and she like goes to it. She's like, this is not funny. It is not funny. Stop it. Okay. Stop it, guys. It's not funny. And she gets kidnapped. While that's happening, he goes to the grocery store and runs into, I guess, a newscaster because the lady is asking for his photo. He looks up his information. He goes to kidnap that guy, but the issue is he's got a son. So I believe he was trying to not hurt the son and only hurt the dad. But sadly, the son woke up or was done playing video games, saw his dad on the ground, and he also now got kidnapped. So now he's got like 3 victims, right? And the other 2 victims, Margaret, they weren't on there yet. So we don't even know about those people. But Margaret gets really obsessed about it, and she starts Googling it. She even mentions it to her roommate, Ryan, which she's not supposed to. She's not supposed to tell anybody. And she tells Ryan, and Ryan's like, girl, that's crazy. And she takes his laptop because I guess she doesn't have one since, and she also has an old ass phone. Like, so she doesn't want to go on social media because of her past and probably because of her job now. But she's got like a fucking flip phone, no laptop. She uses her roommate's laptop to look up, I don't know, I believe it was like looking up info on one of the videos and finds out the guy is actually missing. And she's like, oh my God, this guy's actually missing. So now she goes back to work. They have a work outing and she's trying to tell her boss, like, listen, there's not a coincidence. These videos are real. And the boss is just so concerned with the fact that she needs to shut her trap because they're not supposed to talk about this shit outside of work. Beyond that, as she's going through this obsession, she's starting to take meds, the blue pill. And as she's taking the meds, she's getting kookier and kookier and kookier. And she's getting more and more obsessed. Her to a point where her roommate's like, girl, I don't want you to use my fucking computer because you're doing some deep dives. And if this guy is a killer, I don't want to get fucking killed. So now she's at work and she pretends to be helping out her boss / friend and is like, oh, I'll help you with whatever work you need to get done. I bought you tickets for the Grateful Dead. Have fun. And it's just so crazy because then she goes on the computer, popping her pills, and finds the dude. She goes, if I could download the videos, I could find their IPs. I could get information on the guy. Like as if this guy's not going to have anything to fucking find her. But whatever. I guess she isn't around technology a lot to understand that. So she goes and brings that home. She searches and finds his info. And of course, he finds it. He finds it. He finds that she gets a ping because she is trying to search for him. And is right after too, he takes the newscaster guy, ties him up, and he's getting like playful with it now. Like very just like vindictive. You see him behind the camera and he's like, putting a gun in his hand. He goes, you want to try to shoot me? I'll give you a moment. You want to shoot me? You could try to shoot me. Like, and he's laughing. And he's still finding the good angle. And then all of a sudden, he gets shot up, right? So now the guy's dead. He takes a camera and he gets a close-up and he plays the faces of death sound. And he's like really into it. So now my theory of that, he was like, you know, this poor guy that, oh, I'm going to kill people because I'll put down, is not valid anymore. Now I'm like, okay, now he's becoming a little more cockier. And by the way, throughout this whole movie, he is not shirtless at all, which really pissed off one of my friends. He even had a skin tone shirt. Like, and it was just, I go, well, maybe it was his contract to take to take him seriously. But I was like, I don't know. I don't think he needs to see his shirt. But then you find out because a little bit of blood gets on him and he starts like just aggressively washing his hands. And you find out that he's got OCD. So he doesn't like to get dirty. So that's why he's wearing like a skin tone shirt. He's trying not to get blood on him or on his hands. So yeah, he's got OCD. Great choice to murder people. I heard that's a clean job. So in the progression of Margaret just looking up the killer's shit, her roommate was right all along because he finds out where she lives, gets into her apartment, fucking kills the goddamn roommate, who is, by the way, the apartment is so small and the roommate is screaming for her. Screaming. And I get that she had headphones on, but I mean, just like right there, like, come on, man. So she finally gets up and like her roommate's sitting there with his neck cut open, just and she's just like gets fucking kidnapped. I'm like, well, I hope you feel bad now because you got your fucking roommate killed after he predicted it. So now she's there. You're seeing the son of the newscaster is just all drugged up. You're looking at Samantha is still there and still alive and a little beat up. The killer is feeding her pizza apparently and trying to shove it in her mouth. I felt like in that scene, it started getting like a little pervy for a minute. I was like, is this gonna go? Is it gonna get a little pervy? But it didn't. It didn't. It did not. But Margaret just gets into this fucking gate, and her roommate had this lipstick that had a razor in it, and she had it. So, like, she gets that fucking lipstick, cuts herself out, gets out of the fucking gate, gets Samantha out of the gate. They're trying to get the fuck out of the house. And what does this bitch do? Wait. Samantha's like, bitch, what? I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, what do you mean, wait? Like, this guy is in the house. What are you doing? By the way, he's in the house melting her fucking roommate. So she's sitting there trying to get like his hard drive. So Samantha's like, fuck, just looking back and forth. Fuck. Finally, she grabs something and just cracks the door open because everything is locked. They're locked in there. So Margaret finally gets the hard drive. She's like starts running, but by that time it doesn't fucking matter because Samantha went over the gate and was already getting chased by the fucking killer and got shot. So now Margaret gets the hard drive, starts running, and now she gets shot by the fucking killer, but she keeps running. And by the way, as she's running from the killer is shot, she runs up to this car with kids and like parents, and they just fucking speed off. They're like, fuck you, bitch. I ain't helping you. So what sucks is when the killer shot her, though, it went through the hard drive. So now the hard drive is destroyed. She's got no proof. Because even when she did go to the cops were not paying attention to her because she's already known for her sister and getting her killed. Like, they literally were like, aren't you the train girl? They're not going to believe her when it comes to this guy. So she's fucked at this point. So she goes to the cops and she's like, listen, I was kidnapped. This is the house. And they're like, are you sure? They go to the fucking house. And this guy turns into fucking Ed Gein. Like, it's just, I don't understand. He's like, oh, hello. How are you doing today? I'm not a killer. As you can see, I'm living in this house. And they're like, oh, what happened to your parents? I don't know. So now, even though he didn't say it out loud, now you're getting the inkling that this dude fucking murdered his parents, and that was his victims. Like, so his parents are dead. He now has the house to himself, and now he's like this weird OCD guy killing people in this like hidden bookshelf. So he goes there with his glasses. He's got a jacket on, by the way. First red flags, officers. He's got a jacket on and he's inside the house. Like, what the fuck? And they tell her, like, calm down and stay in the car. I feel like if she did calm down, the cops would have did something because they started. So because in the house, he had Samantha, who's still alive, but bleeding out right now, moving around in plastic because he dragged her back. So they could hear rustling. But what happens is after questioning him, Margaret runs out of the fucking car and starts freaking out on him. And he's like, she's been stalking me, officers. And they're like, oh, I could see because this crazy bitch is trying to attack you right now in front of us. So they grab her and leave and they go, I'm so sorry, sir. If she would have calmed the fuck down, they would have been fine because they started being like, what the fuck is that noise? Like looking around the corner, but you would never know because now Margaret just fucked up. She fucked up big time. Yeah. So they like think that she's a crazy bitch. They take her to a hospital and try to drug her up, and she's like, "No, I'm pre-drugged. Thank you." She didn't really say that, but she goes out of the hospital now, and she gets a phone call from the killer, and he's like, "Listen, come back, bring my hard drive," because he doesn't know it's destroyed, and no one gets hurt. So she's like, "Fuck." She's like, "Don't hurt them. Like, as long as they're not hurt, I will give you the hard drive." She tries to be a badass, and he's sitting there with a gun to her head when she arrives. And he's like, "Bitch, where's my hard drive?" And she goes, "I have it hidden. I know where it's hidden. I'll tell you where it's hidden if you tell me if these people are okay." And he's like, "Okay." But as he's walking, he is like telling her how he's like, "Man, you're awesome to me. You're incredible. You got your fucking sister murdered. You're like the best. You're like my idol. Like, we should work together. Like, fuck this. Let's just like work together." And she's like, "Fuck no." And then he takes her into the basement. And this bitch is really assuming this guy was not about to do anything. Like, you like, I mean, to be fair, you're in his house anyway. So, like, he could have just shot you down that second and, like, fine. You hid my hardware. That's cool. I killed your roommate. I know you have no family right now, and you're a loner. So, like, what's happening? So he goes out, she goes in and out into the basement, and Samantha and the newscaster's son is all torn up, and they added parts to the mannequins. So you see both their dead heads and parts of their bodies put onto these mannequins. And Margaret just starts freaking the fuck out. She's like, "Fuck you!" And starts attacking him. And what's funny is there's blood on the ground all over. And she like has him fall into the ground, and all you hear is this like just screeching that it was so funny. And he was just freaking out. So she's like fucking stabbing him because he's like so distraught with the fact that he's dirty right now. And he's like, "Ah, what the fuck?" And she like shows that she's been wired the whole time. So she got his confession because he confessed to killing everyone when he showed that he cut up the other two people, which is fine. And then like, and there's video, like she's videoing it also, which he gets off on. So now he's like gurgling and dying, like while she's videotaping. And instead of taking it to the cops, she posts it straight on social media, which he laughs and then dies because he's like, "This is the greatest work I've ever done." Like, it's like his dream came true. He got to collab with her. She gave him what he wanted. And he becomes now famous because he's a killer that admitted his killings, but he's dead now and forever on the interweb. So he's forever going to be alive. You know what I mean? It really kind of gets into how fucked social media is. Even with the Charlie XCS part, who her character is laughing at these death videos Margaret's taking seriously. And she's like, "Come on, girl, like, what the fuck ever. These videos are everywhere." Like, someone who has trauma has to see these videos because they're trending. You know what I mean? So it really, really affects people. But yeah, I thought this was a great movie. Um, Highly suggest it. I am not being biased because I grew up watching this movie, but I mean, even his acting was on point. So I give this, drum roll please, 5 stabbies. You get 5 stabbies for Faces of Death. It is incredible. It's a great movie. I suggest if you've not seen it, because I didn't ruin everything, you should go watch it. I mean, the guy's acting that plays the killer is incredible. It is a shame that he's not in more movies. He needs to be in more movies. You know what I mean? But that being said, you know what time it is? You know what time it is?
With a sharpened wit and wicked time, come review bad reviews with Stabby Time.
Welcome to Bad Reviews. And here we are reading our first victim's review, which is amazing. I have to say that even though I read all of my bad reviews off of IMDb, and this movie only had 3 bad reviews. So even though these people think, oh, here we go. What am I missing? Here we go. Thank you. Only 3 reviews. Only 3 reviews for this movie. It's crazy. It is crazy. To think that even if a movie is good, they're still gonna flip out about it. But you know what? If they didn't do this, I wouldn't have a fun segment like this. So this person, the name is Dime Store _hog. Obviously, they are well read. The title's called Worst Movie of the Year, Zero Hyperbole. I'm not sure what hyperbole means. Let's Google it. What does hyperbole mean? Oh, it is. Okay. So a figure of speech that uses extreme, intentional, and to empathize a point, express strong emotion, and add humor. That's weird. But anyways, this douchebag says, one of the worst adaptations, wow, big words today, Liz, to ever be unleashed upon this earth. Frankenstein together from an obvious dumpster haul of absurd cliches and cheap nostalgia bait. Faces of Death is not only bad, but actively harmful in a number of metaphysical and practical ways. Oh my God. A content monitor for a video app begins to suspect that a new user is uploading real snuff films based on an infamous 1987 shock tape Faces of Death. Now, the original Faces of Death was very, very stupid, mainly because the majority of its snuff was completely fake, but also because stitching together a bunch of unrelated clips, no matter how real or shocking, is simply not an artistic endeavor worth respect. Faces of Death 1978 is more akin to a fail through line beyond Guy Falls Down. First of all, Faces of Death was real, dude. Literally the fucking name. Faces of Death. And also like what? Like how good do you think the fucking special effects was in 1970s? I can't. So now let's go. So here's the thing. This gentleman already hates Faces of Death, right? Like he already advertised his advertisement of his hate for the original. So now this man paid money because he was like, you know what? I know I hated the original tapes. Let me watch a movie about these tapes I don't like. So let's proceed. Faces of Death 2026. However, it is not a highlight reel or a slideshow of our mortality. Footage of real death proposes a real purpose, be it for pure sobering shock or genuine instructional value on how to avoid meeting a similar fate Faces of Death offers no shock, no instructions, and it offers only dust, boredom, and perhaps, I lost point. Oh, the greatest 1-2 punch of unlikable main characters in movie history. The protagonist, Margaret, like, this is what gets me with this review. She protagonized the killer. The killer was already killing. Like you think he was gonna stop if she didn't do anything? Or did you just not like, I don't know. It gives me the icks, that comment, just saying. He also put in played just by character Barbie Ferreira. Like, get over yourself. He proceeds to say, is a one-note, single-face, baffled cast seeker who refuses to say or do anything interesting. He really dislikes this actress. So you should really buy a fucking movie ticket to not only see a movie that you did not like the original of, but you should really watch this movie of an actress you hate. What the fuck? So let's proceed. The character sucks, but even worse is Barbie herself. But no facts why. A good amount of the script calls for her to just browse the internet. And for some reason, we are tortured with countless shots of Barbie overreacting to every little thing her cursor is doing. Throughout the movie, in almost every scene, her face fluctuates between two equal dumb expressions: garnish and cartoonish, panic. She reacts to things like a goose who just turned human. What? Never trusting us to pick up on sub and context, and instead shoving the current emotion down the audience collective throat. There is no room for interpretation in her performance, no room for intruge. What you see is exactly what you get. My note on that is that she's showing the expressions of the fact of someone who's gone through trauma watching something that is triggering to her. But you've this guy has all obviously gone through therapy, so what the hell do I know? He proceeds to say, in the red corner lurks the villain. In the red corner lurks the villain. The killer, the message about today's society. Without spoiling too much, I mean, okay. This guy absolutely sucks. What? I love he mentions the actors themselves. Again, if you don't like now two actors and you don't like the movie it's about, the original, like this movie is about our original movie, then why watch it? That's so fucking stupid. He says, without spoiling too much, this guy absolutely sucks. Expressing his really very disturbed and fucked up mind through a convincing facial tics and smug, foopish smirks. Dacre goes out of his way to make this character both as boring and over the top as humanly possible. He's got a unassuming Midwestern mask persona. The obsession with cleanliness and the mannequins and the red eye contacts is summarizing. Our boy authors got it all. He's even a dark, clever line and yell at his fleeing prey. Zigzag. Good. He's cool. God, he's so cool. First of all, this guy is like, not only did he say some red flag shit about the first actress, now he's saying some red shit about him. So you just don't like him as an actor, don't fucking watch the movie, bro. It's really that simple. It's not worth the, like, it just proceeds. Like, his bad review is so stupid. I think this needs to win one of our worst of worst reviews, because he goes into his 5th paragraph and says, and what happens when an unbelievable bore meets a unwatchable idiot? You get a showdown so dumb, so obvious, so ridiculous that I almost transcended this mortal coil and merged with ethical godhead out of pure spite for this movie. Everything that it stands for, abolishing the audience for enjoying disturbing content, really only works if your content is in and of itself disturbing. Faces of Death is not disturbing. It is most graphic kill is just a guy getting shot by guns, which is not true at all. It is most unpleasant sequence, a poor monkey being strapped into a execution pillory, is literally just footage from a completely different movie. It is not, you fucking idiots. It is from Faces of Death. Like, what a fucking dumbass. This guy obviously never watched Faces of Death, but hates it so much. He does not like any of the actors. And he's stupid enough to buy a ticket to see the movie so he could write like 5 paragraphs of being a dumbass. And he's like, speaking of death, that is not how Narcan works or whatever. You buffoons, you fools, you spreaders of dangerous misinformation. Oh no. No. We all know what kind of guy this guy is. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Fornicating with a divorced woman? Drinking wine in these sinful cold cuts?
Yep. This is exactly what this man is. Exactly that. That is insane. I was like, that's all he had to hear. Oh my God, stop it. He even says in the end of his little fucking speech here, it says, it's there purely to set 100 meander, incorrect, gotcha moment. I'm like, I love how he just quoted the Ed Gein. First of all, this guy is a dumbass. Everyone's open to their own opinions, but when your opinion has already been made and you paid for a movie ticket with not only most of the casts you already do not like, but you don't like the original movie in which this movie is based from, then you, sir, are a dumbass. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Yeah, he's a dumbass. He is definitely a dumbass. So let's move on to another review. Bam. This one is shorter. Thank Satan, because that was gut wrenching. This one is from Smiley Happily Guy 2002. This could only go so well. His review is Problem with Today's Society. With that name, I imagine that's how he sounds. The original was 1980s exploitation, but this is garbage banking on nostalgia. Today's cinephiles have a major problem. Critics are not phasing quality and will not criticize bad movies. Unfortunately, audiences are being exposed to garbage. By the way, this man is not using any periods. Seriously, this movie is absolutely disturbing in the worst possible way. No redeemable factors where everyone involved should be forced out of entertainment. Smiley Happily Guy. I know you're happy, but I have to say, sir, The original film was literally based off of that, like real death, shock death. Like it if you know that again, if you don't like the first movie, don't watch don't watch a fucking movie about that movie. I just don't get people like that. It doesn't make any sense. And there's been reviews that I've read that I've agreed on some factors, you know what I mean? But I have to say, this dude's acting is awesome. It's insane. It's insane. He is an intense actor and he acts really well. I mean, Barbie's character spent most of the time freaking out because she's got fucking trauma. So it's like she did just that and she got obsessed. Like, I mean, I think everyone did fucking fantastic, but that's me. This person, Mitch Band 1960. Title, truly sickening. I often sign up for an unseen screen to see what is new coming out of Hollywood. This movie was a take on Faces of Death from 1970s, but much worse. By the way, there's been 3 different years here that these people have said. There really is no reason to make a movie like this. It is just vile and unnecessary. From start, we kept an open mind and wanted to enjoy our outing, but some of the killing began. We saw a few couples wall out within the first 25 minutes. We decided to leave 35 minutes in. So you didn't even see the fucking outcome of the movie, dude? We saw the killing of the father by gunshot and knew the gruesomeness would only get worse. I'm sure that others followed, but as we were leaving, I noticed people's faces in the theater, and there was a look of shock and disgust. If anyone enjoys this movie like this, they are sick. Plus, things like this could put ideas in the middle of the mentally ill. Don't waste your hard-earned money on this puke of excrement. I'm going to say once again, if you don't like the last movie, don't watch the fucking film. Like, I don't understand. Oh, I forgot to put that guy's fucking review on. Like, I don't understand. If you guys don't like the damn movie, don't watch the movie. Like, if there's a movie about a past movie you don't like, don't watch the fucking movie. Don't watch the fucking movie. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And if you're the type of person like me that doesn't mind spoilers and you're listening to this, I do suggest that you watch it. Say you end up not liking it, that's fine. But a lot of these people are not understand. Well, that guy didn't understand jack shit because he didn't even wait for the movie. First of all, this movie's got to be fantastic because only 3 bad reviews. That's pretty fucking good on IMDb. I'm just saying that's actually a good stats there, guy. So yeah, it was insane. This movie's fantastic. Go to watch it. And remember, the reason I read these bad reviews are because I feel like a lot of people will look at a lot of indie horror or movies in general. They'll look at the percentage of Rotten Tomatoes, or they'll see, oh my God, this only has like 3.5 stars. Don't let that deter you away from these movies. See it for yourself. See if you think it's bad. And if you think it's bad, then fine. If you do stupid shit like these guys and you know you don't like Faces of Death, the original, you don't like gore, but you know what Faces of Death original was about. You know that it was about real deaths, and you don't like seeing death, and then you don't like the actors. Like, not even one actor, right? Like, let's say you don't like one actor. Okay, that makes sense. Like, fine. You're like, "Ugh, I don't really like that actor, but I'll still watch the movie." But you don't like two of the main characters, and you don't like the original Faces of Death. Why the fuck would you go see that movie? Like, literally, why would you go see that movie? I don't understand. I don't understand. Um, I'm trying to think of an actor I don't like. I'm not a fan of. Not that I don't like. I'm not a fan of her acting. That's it. Kristen Stewart. I'm not a fan of her acting, right? Anytime she's in a movie, I'm not gonna go see it. If she was in a horror movie and there were other actors I enjoyed, so I could only deal with like 10% of her, I'd go see the movie. Um, would I base that movie off of the fact that I don't like her? No. I'm just not a fan of her acting, and that's it. But other than that, I'm not gonna be like, and say she shocks me and she stops doing whatever she does when she acts. Like, I'll give her props. Totally understandable. But it sounded like these guys had their minds made up. You know what I mean? So I mean, I really wouldn't take their opinions. I would definitely take the opinions of people who, even if you don't know what the original Faces of Death is. I will say this. i- If you feel like you want to see the real Faces of Death, I'm not going to deter you away from that. But I will say that have a remember that that is real shit you're watching. Um, and you are a responsible adult, so you figure out if you want to see that or not. You know what I mean? The world is different now. So, just giving a forewarning. The movie was fantastic though. Definitely gore, definitely elements. The characters were amazing. You do go through the journey of anxiety and no one listening to you when you're trying to save lives, and the fact that everything in social media follows you. Social media is forever. And that is one of the lessons in this movie. She did something dumb. Now she's got to live it for the rest of her life. And now she's got to live it for the rest of her life because her sister is dead because of her. But also her sister was also old enough to make her own decisions, and she also danced on there. So, I mean, it is what it is. But also, while she has to post on social to make people believe that it was real and to prove that it's real, while she's doing that, she's also doing exactly what he wanted, and that is to glorify what he was doing, because there are going to be people out there that glorify this type of shit. I am not in support of murder. I'm not in support of people getting violence or hurt. Uh, I love gore movies because they're fake, and that's the bottom line. I know these movies are fake, and that is why I enjoy it. I enjoy the nostalgia of Faces of Death. It was fun to be a weird kid that loved horror movies and had something that was like, you know, everyone knew about it. They were like, "Man, you're really a badass if you go see that movie." But also like I said, kids nowadays, we watched a lot of shit. Even our teachers showed us a lot of weird shit. So we don't get I guess mentally scarred as much because we were shown dead bodies at a young age. Um, but yeah, this movie was amazing. Definitely go watch it. Watch it in theaters. I'm gonna say that. Watch it in theaters. Don't worry. You'll be able to watch it at home and have the same response and the same joy for it. But you got to see it in theaters. Just like my last review on Undertone, you got to see that shit in the theater unless you got surround sound. If you got a in-home theater, then knock your socks off. But go see it in theaters. That being said, I am going to be honest. I have no idea what I'm going to review next. There's been so many horror movies. But if you are in the Woodridge, Illinois area, Hollywood Boulevard Theater is going to have be teaming up with the Horror House in Chicago. Horror House in Chicago is going to be having a anniversary showing of Silence of the Lambs. I believe it's 35 years since it's been out. They're going to have vendors. They're going to have a fun shit to buy. And then you get to see it with a bunch of horror fans. It's super fun. I'm going to be there. So if you guys want to go hang out, come along. And that is on, should have been looking that up as I was announcing it, but I didn't. I was so organized today, right? I'm like, until I did that. I believe it is this coming weekend. Let me double check, make sure I am right. Yep. It is April 25th at 7 p.m. So I would suggest going to the Hollywood Boulevard Theater website to reserve, because it looks like, I'll check out to see, because last time they did a Scream event, it was almost sold out. Yes, we have enough room. So I would suggest going to buy tickets and coming to hang out and see it. Other than that, for the AFMG crew, we have more episodes to come. I do have some guests lined up that will be coming on. I'm not going to tell, I'm not going to spoil. And remember, folks, join our Patreon. It is AFMG Podcast Network. Come support us on Patreon. Give us some minis so then we could do fun things, upgrade our stream, get fun guests for you all, and do events. Keep on keeping on. And remember, stay stabby. I didn't click on the button. There we go. Stay stabby.